Another important thing when it comes to business, it's relationships, it's networking. Because there are those who have come before you and they are willing to answer your questions. Go and ask the questions. And look, I know I keep on saying this, but if you are worried that someone will steal your idea, well, let them. Take it as a compliment that you have the creativity and the knowledge and you have the ideas to start something. That already gives you an edge. And if they then copy what you are doing, good for them. But they don't offer what you are offering. And that is where the unique selling point comes in. What do you offer? What makes you different? And never assume that when you are the cheapest that people will flock to you. If that were the case, how come you get luxury brands that's making money? You get middle income and then your lower income brands. They are all making money. It has nothing to do with pricing. People go where they will get value for their money. And that is what you need to understand. What value do you offer? What do you give to your customers? Another important thing. In the beginning, when you start out, you will wear so many hats. You have to do your own marketing, your own bookkeeping. You have to look for clients. All of that will rest on you. But it cannot be that you keep on doing all those things by yourself and for yourself. What is your role in your business? What is it that you want to achieve? What services do you want to offer? To be a business owner, you need to know what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are. Like, I can do marketing, but I cannot do selling. For me, I get excited when I talk about the services we offer. When I can tell you all about the bookkeeping services. I can tell you about the online marketing services. That's my strength. But I cannot close a deal. So can you see the difference? It's when you know your strength and your weaknesses. Because if I force to close a sale, I might end up with never having any clients at all. But because I enjoy talking about bookkeeping, I enjoy talking about online marketing. But I cannot convince someone to give me money for it. So I get someone else to do that. And that is at the heart of your business. You want to get to a stage where someone gives you money. Pricing. Let's talk about pricing. Many times the question is, how much should I ask for my services or my products? Products are a little easier because you can Google or you can go to your competitor and see how they price things, and then you either price the same but you offer something additional, or you charge less and you hope people will come, right? With products. But services, it's a completely different game, because services are based on hours and effort and the scope of the work. So that is something that every single business owner is battling with. It never gets easy. You never get used to pricing. So how then do you price so that you are happy and your client is happy? To get the right pricing, you need to understand the value you add to your client's life. Look, for instance, right? There are many electricians around. Not all of them are cheap. Some are cheaper, some are expensive, some are exorbitant. Why do you choose the electrician that you do? Why do you choose him? Is it because he's the cheapest? Or is it because he does the job the way that you want it to be done? So you need to ask yourself that question. What is the value that I add to my client's life? How do I make their lives better? How many other people can do this the same way I can do it, with the same dedication, the same honesty, with the same commitment to the job? Those are questions you need to ask when you are considering your pricing. There is no standard when it comes to pricing. That's why you will find someone will ask 5 times more for the same service, because they are confident, like, what I am offering you, I believe in it, and I know that I'm giving you the best. Or maybe they're just trying to rip you off because they see, this one doesn't know anything, didn't do research. So when it comes to pricing, in the beginning, when you start with your business, you will undercharge so badly that it will, for a while, it will feel as if you've done all these jobs and you've got nothing to show for it. And everyone is saying, oh, you're so amazing. But when you look at your bank's balance, it does not reflect your amazingness. You still have to hustle for money, for rent, for whatever it is that you use the money for. You will also find in the beginning when you build your business, you don't have any money unless you were fortunate enough to have built a nest egg, or you have someone who's supporting you, which in many cases that's not the case. You are on your own and you have to suck it up and battle it out and hustle until you start making money. So how do you get from a point of barely there or almost or not having enough money to a point where your business is flourishing? It is only when you understand the value of what you are bringing to your client. And I want to make a note here. There are many, many cheap people in this world. I mean, I've been one of them. Like, why must I pay so much for a service? Is this person crazy? But when you understand your effort, your time, the skills that you bring to that job, what it took you to get there, like your petrol, the maintenance, the wear and tear on the car, your petrol, your stationery, your cell phone cost, all of that, we don't factor it in. We don't even realize how much money we spend on a single client, because we only think that it's the job that's at hand. But when you consider what it took for you even to get to your client's house, if you have to do services at the house, what it took for you to get to that point where you can deliver this service or sell this product, then you start pricing according to that. You go beyond just the job. You're also pricing for what the client doesn't see. What I mean with that, the client didn't know what it took for you to arrive at this point where you are now a business owner. So you are charging for your whole package, that is you, your company, your skills, the service that you bring, and the knowledge that you have. That is what you are charging for. And only you can determine that price. When earlier I spoke about cheap people, there are some people, right? Even if you say to them, you can have this car for R1, they will still ask you, can I pay you 50 cents? Right? That is it, just in the nature of some people. Then you will get clients. When you do an excellent service, they will say to you, you know what you charge, I think I will pay you more. Don't hope for those clients who will see your effort and then hope that they will pay you more. When you price, don't price with guilt. Don't price with fear. Because what keeps you also poor and in desperation is when you accept a job knowing A, that you have undercharged, and B, it's too much effort. But you do it because you think, if I don't take this job, I won't have money to eat. Nothing could be further from the truth. There are so many people in this world who want to part with their money. But you must make it worth their while to part with their money. If you can't, they won't give you the money. You will always find a cheap person who doesn't want to pay you. Either they pay you late, or they don't pay you at all, or you have to jump through so many hoops to get your money from them. There are many people like that. But you have the power and the decision and the choice to say no to those kind of people. Because if you keep on saying yes to cheap people, you will always attract them into your life. You know what happens when you are cheap? I tell other people, oh, go to him, he's cheap. And those other people tell those other people, oh no, go to her, she's cheap. Can you see how it works? Now you keep on attracting cheap people to you, just by accommodating one or two cheap people. So now let's look when you price accordingly. If someone says to you, no, you're too expensive, what do? Then you say, no, fine, go look somewhere else. You must be confident about your pricing. You must be confident about what you know and what you offer. And this does not happen automatically. This comes after years of hard work. Unless, of course, if you have a brilliant mentor. But if, like many of us, you don't have a mentor and you have to figure things out along the way and you read a little bit here, you read a little bit there, and none of it means anything to you. You have to figure it out as you go along. So when it comes to pricing, it doesn't matter how expensive you are or how cheap you are. You will always find someone who's willing to pay for what you offer, if they believe that you are giving them their money's worth. So what do you offer that is worth for someone that they want to pay you for it? And look, it has a lot to do with confidence. And confidence doesn't, I wish there was a place where confidence was being dished out, where you can say, hang on, I'm a little low on confidence. I'm just going there to get my dose of confidence for today. And then you take your confidence and you come back. I wish it was like that. It doesn't work like that. You constantly have to psych yourself up. You constantly have to remind yourself, why am I doing this? Because look, you have to be absolutely crazy to start a business. But I can tell you the rewards, oh, it's amazing to say I'm doing my own thing. It is amazing. But at the end of it, it's money that makes it worthwhile. As an example, we did electrical services for many years, for really many years. My business partner, who's also my husband, he does it so well. Whether it was a 500 Rand job or whatever the cost, he did it with commitment and he did it with heart. But because we never understood the value of our service, right? We did things differently. When we were offering electrical service, we communicated with the client from day one. That already set us apart. It wasn't a big thing. But we communicated with the client. We said, this is the quote. Please accept. When they would accept, halfway through we would say, we are going to start the job on such and such a date. On the day that before we even go there, we would call and say, do you still remember that the day before or on the day, do you still remember that we must come and do a job at your house? Give us the time and then we would go. At the end, we would make sure that where he worked, it was perfectly clean the way that we left it. Then we would communicate to the client after completion of the job. We would then communicate with the client and say, and took pictures. This is what we have done and this is what you are paid for. What you are paying for. This is the before and this is the after. So when you answer the questions of the client, if you can show this is what I've done, then they will pay you. And there won't be any quibbles and you stick to the agreement. You must make your agreement and when you enter the agreement, the quote must be very tight. That you must say in your quote, anything extra, you will pay extra. These services this quote includes only these services. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter what service you offer. If you don't do that and you arrive at a place. I'm coming back to electricity. And the quote was to install 5 plugs. You install the plugs where the client wanted it. And then the client comes afterwards and say, I changed my mind. I want the plugs now. There. You cannot charge extra because you never said any additional work is extra. And that is something that you battle with until the lesson that you learn becomes so painful that before you even send a quote, you read it over and over again to make sure that you've covered all your bases. So that is about pricing.